It's time for The Verdict. The Verdict is a lively discussion of current events and legal issues pertinent to Oklahomans. The Verdict is hosted by Kent Myers and Mick Cornett. It's time for The Verdict.
Hello again and welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers, and this week's show deals with one of our local universities, Oklahoma City University.
Oklahoma City's University, as they like to be called, is really gathering a lot of spirit for the holiday season. There are a lot of things going on out at OCU upcoming in the next 2 or 3 weeks prior to the Christmas holidays that we want to talk to you about. As a matter of fact, you may be wondering what happened to the Yuletide Festival. The Yuletide event is now being housed at Oklahoma City University under a different name, Home for the Holidays, and we think that you're going to hear a lot about it, see some good footage, and talk to a person who knows where to go to have a good time on Christmas.
It's something we're most proud of, Oklahoma City University and their fine arts program. We'll learn more about what's coming up here in December on The Verdict. Stay with us. Hey there, welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers, and Kent's going to introduce our guest.
Today we have Art Cotton. Art is the Vice President for Institutional Advancement at Oklahoma City University, or Oklahoma City's University. He's a graduate, however, of Oklahoma State University with his Bachelor of Science in Political Science and his Master's degree in Public Administration and Environmental Engineering. Art has formerly worked with the Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation and the Oklahoma State University Foundation, but now he coordinates at Oklahoma City University all alumni and communication activities, and is here to talk to us about some exciting things that are going on at OCU. Art, very glad to have you.
Thank you.
OCU's fine arts program among the best in the country. Let's take a look at what's specifically coming up here for the Christmas season. I think we have a graphic that'll kind of illustrate, and we can go through it. Here we go. First, Here Comes Christmas, December 2nd through the 5th, and then Home for the Holidays, and the dates are on your screen. These are pretty exciting for you, I would expect.
They're very exciting, Mayor. One of the things that we're really excited about, as you know, we've experienced our centennial celebration. Oklahoma City University is 100 years old, and one of the things that we have tried to do, as Ken has mentioned, is be part of Oklahoma City and become Oklahoma City's university. Mm-hmm. And so as a way to give back to the community, what we're trying to do is we've had several celebrations. We had the big regatta on the river and several big events, but to cap the season off for Christmas, we wanted to do some special performances for the Oklahoma City community.
One of the things that on the graphic actually is the second thing that was shown was Home for the Holidays, and I know that's presented by the American Spirit Dance Company and other participants. Let's take a brief look at some footage we have from last year's performance, I think, to show what some of these dancers can do. This is at the Civic Center, which will now be presented at Kirkpatrick Auditorium on the OCU campus.
That's correct. In celebration of our centennial, we brought the Yuletide magic back to campus. And as you can see, we have some of the finest dancers in North America.
Now, the Home for the Holidays performance is presented by the American Spirit Dance Company. How does a young woman become a member of the American Spirit Dance Company?
Well, one, you've got to be a pretty good dancer. We actually, our dancers come from all over North America, as I said. Almost any car that has an out-of-state license on our campus is probably a dancer or in our music program. And it's very competitive. Matter of fact, our ACT requirements for our dancers are 2 points higher than every other student. And they have to audition, get accepted, and we only accept 1 in 8 applicants. So it's very competitive. These young men and women are the best.
By the way, Mick, I want to ask you a trivia question.
Okay.
And I know we haven't rehearsed this.
Yeah, obviously.
But the fact that Art's on the show wouldn't tip you off, however. But what university has provided more Rockettes, New York City, Radio City Music Hall Rockettes, than any other university in the United States?
Well, I'll play along and say NYU.
Wrong. Oklahoma City University, and I did some work in advance of this show for a change, and got on the website and noticed that there is a Rockette Hall of Fame on the dance school's website, showing all the graduates of the OCU Dance School that later went on to be Rockettes. So this American Spirit Dance Company has quite a history of success and quite a tradition.
That it does. If you want to be a Rockette, or you want to perform on Broadway, or you want to be on cruise ships, or Las Vegas, or Nashville, or Branson, most of those alumnus came from our university.
And you have tap. You teach tap at the school also, don't you?
And that's pretty unique too. Mayor, that's a good point, because that was almost a lost art form in America. And matter of fact, when the revival of 42nd Street a few years ago on Broadway, we had 6 of our performers starring in that. And basically, the producer told our dance dean that that performance would have never taken place if not for OCU, because we teach tap.
I assume you also have to recruit instructors for these, and again, the reputation must help you.
Yes, we do. I mean, we've got some of the finest instructors in the world also, and these are people that were in the Bolshoi Ballet, they were tap performers themselves, and in all forms of American dance.
Now, Dean Bedford was unable to join us today, but I guess he's in charge of that program.
That is correct. He's the dean, and his wife, Jo Rowan, is the technical director and the choreographer.
What sort of rehearsals do these young men and women go through for something this intricate?
Oh my gosh! I mean, for the Home for the Holidays performance, they actually started about 4 months ago, almost about the time school began. They started laying out their performances and how the choreography would go and things. Very intense, very intense.
And higher education really requires a lot of money, and you can't always raise it from tuition, so I would assume you've had some benefactors out there that have helped the program.
Well, we have. There's been some things in the news lately that we're very proud of. The Inasmuch Foundation, which was started by Edith Kinney Gaylord in 1982, recently gave us $3 million for renovation and construction of new dance studios to our dance facility. In addition to that, because the project cost approximately $7 million, Ann Lacey, one of Oklahoma City University's trustees and a philanthropist in the city, gave us the remaining $4 million to finish that. So it's going to be a state-of-the-art facility and provide a venue for, we've got the best program in the country, we just needed the practice facilities, and this is going to be a tremendous recruiting tool for us to get more dancers here and take more maybe than 1 in 8.
Historically, Art, OCU is known nationwide and worldwide for its fine arts programs.
That's correct.
Historically, how did that begin? Why isn't that at Harvard or at Dartmouth or at Stanford or so? How did that tradition begin at Oklahoma City University?
A lot of vision. I mean, we've had great instructors, as the mayor has inferred, that started over 50 years ago. Our music program goes back almost 70 years, when someone basically just drove a stake in the ground and decided that we were going to be excellent at certain things. And you know, you can't be everything to everyone. And we've got an incredible law school and a great business school and arts and sciences and religion, but we are known for our performing arts. And one thing you learn is that you go with your long suit, and we're very proud of that.
One thing that one of your number mentioned in a prior show that stuck with me today is that the music school, at least in the piano end, is now an all Steinway music school, and in other words, all the pianos, practice and otherwise, are Steinways, and they're new, and that's a unique distinction.
That is, and matter of fact, through the philanthropy of Wanda Bass from McAllister, we are an all Steinway school. She purchased 105 Steinways. It was the largest, this is kind of a unique trivia question too, it's the largest order that Steinway out of New York had ever placed in their 150-year history.
Did you get a volume discount?
Well, we didn't, but we get good response from them anyway if there's a problem. But
yeah. I have a story you might appreciate. I was recently out of state on on a stage at a ceremonial type event, and a young woman who was going to sing the national anthem came up to me after hearing I was the mayor of Oklahoma City and said, I went to Oklahoma City University. And I thought, well, that makes sense. She's singing the national anthem. She learned these skills in the fine arts program. And I said, that's wonderful. She said, I went to the law school. And it turns out she didn't take any undergraduate fine arts course. She just went to the law school, but was talented enough to sing a national anthem in front of a large crowd and a large stage.
And I think that does say a lot. Matter of fact, our president, Tom McDaniel, gets asked a lot. Many of our students that are not in the fine or the performing arts have a lot of talent too, and they actually are in some of these performances during the holidays because they have an opportunity to audition just like some of the majors in dance or music.
Let me jump in here and get us to a break. We're visiting with Art Cotton. We're talking about OCU and the wonderful fine arts program as well as some of the Christmas programs that are coming your way here in Oklahoma City. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers. Art Cotton from Oklahoma City University is our guest, and we're discussing the fine arts programs and the Christmas programs that are coming to OCU this season.
Yes, and the first night of Home for the Holidays we showed on a graphic, but we'll talk about it some more in a minute, is December 9th. Now, I know that's not all that's going on December 9th on OCU campus in relation to these holiday events. Tell us about the other things.
That's right, Kent. This is the opening night for Home for the Holidays, but this is also one of our outreach programs to our neighborhood and to Oklahoma City and the community around us. At 7:15 on the 9th, we will actually have a Light the Campus, which we have done for the last 4 years. The campus will be lit up. We'll have a tree on our quad, and it's going to be a beautiful celebration.
Well, will you light up more than just the tree?
Oh, yes. We light up the entire campus, but it will be lit, and then we'll light the campus, and some of our music performers will sing some Christmas carols and things like that. Before that, though, which is really important, is we've done this the last 4 years too. We actually bring about 500-600 of the less fortunate people in the 23rd Street area in our neighborhood, and our Student Senate feeds those people. And a wonderful meal, and then we have Santa, and we have sleigh rides for the kids and gifts for everyone, and it's just another way that OCU can give back to the community. And that kind of leads us in to the Home for the Holidays performance that opening night, where, as you said earlier, we moved back from the Civic Center to our campus, and Home for the Holidays has special meanings for all of us. If you're a student, it's always nice to go home and have a home-cooked meal, and if you're a soldier far away, it reflects back on your home and being that, and that's the spirit we're going to try to bring. 160 dancers that will have traditional Christmas songs from Santa to spiritual. The one thing that Dean Bedford and Joe Rowan are very adamant about is we always keep Christ in Christmas. So the meaning will be in there, and so Home for the Holidays is something very nice, and that's the 9th through the 12th of December, and on the 11th and 12th, Saturday and Sunday, we have 2 p.m. matinees. The other days, Thursday through Saturday, are 8 p.m. performances.
Okay, so Home for the Holidays is largely dance.
Yes.
And then your other event coming up is Uh-Oh, Here Comes Christmas, a work by Robert Fulghum.
That's correct. Kind of interesting, your viewers may find this. Robert Fulghum's also the author of Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten, which is something that was written a few years ago, and it was a huge bestseller. This is a poignant look at Christmas where you go through the stressful times and the chaos and kind of the commercialism and trying to look for that deeper meaning. And what this presentation, directed by Judy Palladino of our theater department, brings is the greatest gift of all, what the real true meaning of Christmas is. And it's something that I think that all families would like to see also. And that, as we said, starts tomorrow night on the 2nd, and that runs through the 5th. And on the 5th, there is a matinee also at 2 p.m., 8 p.m. on the performances.
Whereas Home for the Holidays was by the dance department. Which departments are involved in
Okay.
this?
Here Comes Christmas is presented by our theater department, Mayor, and that's in the Kirkpatrick Auditorium and it's in the Berg Theater.
So it's a play, or
Yes,
give me a little idea what to expect.
Yes, it's a play. 23 of our students from all over the country are in this, and it's basically kind of brings back the true meaning of Christmas, kind of in the times we live. Very topical type of performance.
And I would assume acceptable for all ages.
Oh, more than acceptable for all ages.
Let's talk about your centennial celebration on the one hand and your end of the year Christmas festivities on the other. How do they tie together?
Well, how they tie together is our president, Tom McDaniel, likes a celebration to last even a little bit longer than a year. But we're
By the way, he won't be dancing in Home for the Holidays.
well, now I don't know if he's going to be in the kick line here, Brenda, but I do know that we're going to have a special presentation, as we mentioned earlier, about the Inasmuch Foundation and Ann Lacey. And so I know that the president is going to be on stage for the December 9th Home for the Holidays. I'm not sure if he would want to dance, but he will do something.
All right. Go ahead.
What Tom likes to do is that, celebrations can last a long time. This has been a wonderful year for us. In January, we kicked off an $18.3 million gift from Herman and LaDonna Minders, and we dedicated our beautiful Minders Business School, which the mayor was at, and it was a wonderful event. We brought in some world-class speakers that were free to the public. Desmond Tutu, Archbishop Tutu. We had Janet Reno, ex-Attorney General of the United States, spoke to a women's law conference, which was sponsored by OCU. And then we brought in Sandra Day O'Connor, U.S. Supreme Court Justice. We had a centennial graduation. We had 1,300 people come for our actual September 24th, the centennial event. We dedicated our Kerr-McGee Plaza, and by a generous gift by the Gaylord family, a statue to our three Miss Americas. We had a big performance, and then we ended that on October 1st with our first ever regatta on the Oklahoma River, where 10,000 Oklahoma City residents got to see some of the finest rowing in the world with Harvard and Virginia and 9 of the 12 Big 12 teams and Oklahoma City University.
You know, I have a clear idea of when you renovate campuses, renovate buildings on a campus of what might be important. You know, obviously in a science lab you might want more science equipment and things like that. But in my mind, I don't have an idea of how you can improve a dance studio or a dance facility. Okay. Exactly what are you putting into this dance facility that might not be available at other universities around the country?
That's a very good question. The floors at dance facilities are very unique, and they have to give because the pressure and the impact on a dancer's legs and ankles are very important, and so those floors are very, very expensive, and so they actually give, Mayor, when you do that. The air is important. It's an aerobic type of activity, so you have to have different air handling facilities. In addition, we're constructing 4 new state-of-the-art studios that have these special floors, but not only that, they will allow the instructors to teach multiple classes at one time. So in '06, when this building is dedicated, and for the Home for the Holidays performance in 2 years, they'll be able to practice in these facilities too, large amounts, which is going to be tremendous, but it's very expensive.
It is. And is this a completely new building, or are you renovating an older building? Or how?
It is the former business school building. When Mr. and Mrs. Minders gave us the money for the new building, that gave us an opportunity, and we needed a home for our dance students. They were at about 4 different locations across campus. We have a church on campus, an annex, and matter of fact, they even dance still to this day over the president's head on the 4th floor of the administration building. And if you've ever been in meetings during that time, you hear some pretty good music and some pretty loud tapping. So this will alleviate that and bring them all under one roof.
I would think with all that's going on at OCU that there would be a very good reception among not only Oklahoma high school seniors but people from around the country. Just approximately how many students does OCU have on an average basis?
We have 3,700 full-time students. Something that makes OCU a little bit more unique than most universities. OU, OSU, you always have a lot more undergraduate than graduate. Because of our law school and because of our fine arts programs and at the graduate level, we're about 50% graduate, 50% undergraduate, and Stanford's about the only other place in the country that has that same ratio.
Now, you have had exceptional fine arts programs, as we've said on this show, and others, but your athletic program is nothing to be sneezed at.
No,
Your basketball teams and baseball teams and other teams that I'm sure I'm leaving out have excelled as well.
You are correct. I mean, we're a member of the NAIA, and I know the mayor would like, and we would like to pursue some opportunities to maybe become NCAA, but our programs are very competitive. Our women's basketball program won the national championship 2 of the last 4 years, and in those other 2 years, they were runner-up. The men, of course, were 5th in the country last year. Our baseball program has been runner-up and national champion 2 years ago. Our women's softball, tremendous. I'll tell you something that's probably even more important than that is we have 80% of our athletes graduate, and that's something that the president takes very seriously.
Art Cotton, thanks for coming on the show and letting us know more about OCU and what you got going on here in the Christmas season.
Thank you. It's
come
my
back
pleasure.
again.
I'd love to. Thank you.
Kent and I will have a final word when we get back. Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett, Kent Myers, we're here to wrap it up. We talked about OCU and the Christmas events they've got coming
Yeah,
up.
let's summarize those again.
Okay, let's take a look at a graphic, and there you see, starting tomorrow, Here Comes Christmas, a play featuring about 23 OCU student actors will be coming, a very high-quality performance, and then, of course, OCU is known worldwide for its dance program, and you'll have a chance to see the best collegiate dancers in the United States in a Christmas-based program, and of course it's great for all ages. So we encourage you to get out and support OCU in this their 100th anniversary, and of course just support the fine arts in general.
Absolutely. And let's, by the way, fine arts question.
Okay.
Remember the TV show Good Times?
Yes.
What was the theme from Good Times?
Moving on up.
Moving on up, and that leads me right into our next show. New Speaker of the House of House of Representatives in Oklahoma, Todd Hyatt, will be coming on a show we've entitled "Moving On Up." We'll have him next week,
And we'll see if he can create good times.
Yes, we hope so.
We'll see you next week. So long.